M25 National Road between Carricktuhil and Youghal, County Cork.
Thanks, Laskin Corlin, and thank the office for selecting this, for the Minister for being here this morning. The Minister, I think, is working overtime and probably should get an increase in wages. She's doing so many of these topical issues for everybody else. But anyway, I want to acknowledge also Deputy O'Connor, both of us here, government leaders from the same constituency, raising the same issue. Now, I don't know if anybody takes any notice out there anymore of what happens in this chamber in government departments. But in any event, I'm going to have probably my final go at this particular issue. I've raised it here many, many times. The N25 between Carricktuhil and Youghal is probably one of the busiest roads in the country. Carries about 30,000 passengers, cars, vehicles and lorries and trucks and motorcycles and so on per day. There are a number of sections there. The section from Carricktuhil to Middleton. In 2020 and around that time, there were plans between TII and the Cork County Council to upgrade that. In other words, to build a whole new section there. It's way below standard at the moment. But then, for some reason, when Minister Ryan came in, he stopped the funding, even though millions had already been spent on it. It's a very dangerous set of road, and one of the issues I'm worried about more than anything else, Laskin Corlin, is the safety issue. And I don't want to be standing here, or I don't want to see in newspapers in the near future situations where Minister Abbott told me this was a grand safe road, we have no money, and yet we have people killed in it. That's not going to be good enough. Now, this is my worry is, and I know Deputy O'Connor also has this concern, this is the worry. There are grade junctions there, medium crossing points, direct access points onto this road. So you imagine the traffic on it, 100 kilometres an hour outside, 2 lanes of traffic, bumper to bumper, and people trying to get on it. They can't. They're crossing the dual carriageway there as well. There's also the Amgen site, we've been sitting there for decades. An IDA industrial site can't be used because of the road infrastructure is up to standard. And thankfully, we're building thousands of houses in the area, which is great for house building, but it's going to increase the traffic volumes enormously. And it's already, this road is already at capacity. So the section between Carricktuhil and Middleton, that was stopped. The money wasn't made available. The local authority, TII and all, were very upset about that, very concerned about it. And my worry now is that even though there's a lot of work has been done, public consultations and so on, will they have to go back and do all this again if in future it gets the go-ahead? You then move on to the Lakeview roundabout, which is beyond capacity. I use that myself quite often. And every time I'm on it, my hat was in my mouth. You're actually playing chicken trying to get onto it, especially at peak times in the evening. It's exceptionally dangerous now. Moving into darker evenings and wet evenings and so on, my worry is there'll be a major collision there and we'll have loss of life. Now, I've raised this time and again. I've been told, more than often, I'm sure Deputy O'Connor has as well, that there will be safety measures put in place on that section of road from Carricktuhil to Middleton. We've seen nothing happening, not a bob spent on it, nothing spent on it. The Lakeview roundabout, Minister, is exceptionally dangerous, one of the busiest in the country, and it's going to get even more busy because, again, there are more and more houses being built in the area, increasing the traffic congestion and the risk and the danger. You move further east then to Castlemartyr, and every morning now, if you listen to the traffic reports on the radio, you hear the traffic building up from the east into Castlemartyr, and the same in the evening. So you can have a number of kilometres of traffic congestion on both sides, morning and evening, at peak times. It really is very frustrating for people. The pollution that's being caused here, ironically, is just crazy. And the quality of life for people living in Castlemartyr and in Killa further down has been disimproved enormously because of this. And then obviously Deputy O'Connor has also mentioned in the past needs a lot of work on this SFI, Burgess, beyond that between Killa and Castlemartyr. We've had a number of serious accidents there. Again, we've been promised safety measures and road improvements. Nothing has happened, not one thing. So I don't know whether people are asleep at the wheel in TII. The Minister has certainly pulled the funding for all this work, but my major concern is safety and you know, so people can actually get from A to B, get the place to work in safety and a lot easier. And the whole pollution thing is gone way up as well, with traffic sitting there belching out diesel and petrol fumes. Thank you.
Thank you again, and I want to thank the Deputy for raising this matter, and I am taking it on behalf of Minister Ryan. The Minister for Transport has responsibility for overall policy and exchequer funding in relation to the National Roads Programme. Once funding arrangement has been put in place with the TII under the Roads Act 1993 to 2015 and in line with the National Development Plan, the planning, design, improvement and upgrading of the individual road networks is a matter for TII in conjunction with the local authorities. The TII delivers the National Roads Programme. I'm sorry if this might frustrate you now because I feel I'm reading the same answer out again. They ultimately delivers the National Roads Programme in line with Project 2040 and the National Planning Framework and the NDP. The Government has earmarked 5.1 billion for capital spending of the new National Roads Project for 2021 to 2030 as part of the NDP. I have taken notes in relation to you saying 30,000 people using that road on a daily basis. This funding will enable improved regional accessibility across the country as well as compact growth, which are key national strategic outcomes. The funding will provide for the development of numerous national roads projects, including the completion of projects which are already at construction stage and those close to it, as well as the development of a number of others. As the greater portion of this funding becomes available in the second half of the decade, this has meant that there is a constraint on funding available in the new projects in 2024. However, approximately 411 million of Exchequer capital funds were provided for the national roads through the TII to local authorities in 2024. The N25 Carrintoohil to Middleton project is one of a number of new national road projects in Cork that were included in the NDP. Other projects include the recently completed upgrade Dunkettle interchange and the N11 Ballybournan to Macroom, which was completed last year. In 2024, almost 56 million in Exchequer funding was allocated to Cork County Council to TII, and this will be used to fund a number of new road projects, including the M28 project between Cork and Rinnaskiddy and the N25 Castle, Martyr and Killa bypass. Funding is also provided for the protection and renewal of the national road network in the county. With regard to the current status of the N25 Carrintoohil to Middleton project, technical advisors have completed their assessment of the route options and have determined the preferred solution. Improvement to crossings over this very busy section of the N25, the enhanced active travel, are being considered as part of the scheme. The project did not receive funding in 2024, but as with all national road projects in the NDP, the delivery of the programme of these projects will be kept under review for 2025 and considered in terms of overall funding envelope available to TII. The project remains part of the NDP. However, TII have allocated funding to Cork County Council to identify measures with potential to address specific safety issues between Carrintoohil and Lakeview roundabout at Middleton. The Cork National Roads Office has undertaken significant desktop work on identifying options in this regard and have undertaken discussions on same with affected stakeholders with the intention of applying for planning permission during 2025. With regard to the N25 east of Middleton, TII are funding Cork County Council's development of a major project, the N25 Middleton to Youghal scheme. This scheme would deliver a bypass of Castle, Martyr to Killa, which suffer from significant levels of Cong works to date have focused on identification and constraints within the study area and have high levels options that are feasible to deliver the project's objectives. And these objectives include accommodating strategic traffic and removing traffic in Castle Martyr to Killa, as well as improving safety. In 2024, 450,000 has been allocated for the progression of the scheme, but I take on board, Deputy, what you say your priority here this morning is safety.
Yeah, I want to thank the Minister for her response, and again the Minister has already commented that this is more or less cut and paste from what I've heard many times, what I'm sure my colleague here also has heard many times. What's really interesting here is that the safety measures on the N25 between Carrintoohil and Middleton, there's an extraordinarily dangerous section of roadway, extremely busy section of roadway. They intend to apply for planning permission during 2025. Now, that could be December 25, last Concola, and we mightn't see any works happening there until 26 or 27. In the meantime, the 2 million that's already been spent on that project has been wasted, in my view, because the major upgrade that TII and County Council had worked so hard on was stalled and wasn't allowed to proceed. And yet they're going ahead now with this, you might call it a band-aid type of effort, which will again take a lot of time with more planning permission and so forth, instead of going on carrying on with the major scheme. And again, I want to emphasise the safety of people. Lakeview roundabout, extraordinarily dangerous. They should maybe put traffic lights on it at this stage as an interim measure to make it safer. I know it's going to slow traffic down even further, but it's exceptionally dangerous. You move further east then into Castlemartin, as I said, the congestion there is mind-blowing. The kilometres of traffic on both sides at certain times during the day, and then you go on to Burgess further on, again exceptionally dangerous, and there have been many accidents there. But somehow or another, when we speak in here about things like this, we get cut and paste. The ministers aren't available. I respect the minister that's come here. She's working exceptionally hard. This is something last call is happening a lot. We have ministers not here, but this House should take precedence. When I was a minister, I always made sure I was in here answering justice questions. It's not happening anymore. And no slight to the minister that's here at the moment, but this should be number 1, and everything else should be number 2, 3 and 4. This is the national parliament, after all, at the end of the day, and it's being treated abysmally by some of the ministers that don't turn up at all, hardly. But they send the minister in to read a script that's cut and paste of stuff we've heard many, many times previously. But safety and saving lives is what I'm on about here this morning, and that's the message I want to bring forward to the minister. Anyone else out there who might be listening, thank you.
And thank you very much, and thank you, Chair. And I take totally on board what you're after saying there, and I will relay it back. It is safety and saving lives. And yet again, I am going to read another. I have to, because I'm deputising, read everything that I'm given. So approximately 411 million of Exchequer capital funds was provided to TII for national roads in 2024. In line with the NDP and government policy, TII seeks to allocate national roads funding to local authorities in a manner which seeks to achieve to the following key outcomes: protection and renewal of existing national road network, progress of major projects in or near construction, progress major projects which are pre-construction but well advanced in the development pipeline, and prioritise any remaining funds for major projects which provide for local bypasses and compact growth in Ireland's towns and villages. The N25 Carrintoohil to Middleton project will be considered for funding in future years.